Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles with Airship Gaming and I'm bringing you a Ninth Age battle report. It's been a hot minute. Didn't really get to play that many games in October, but I just got one in last week, so I'm bringing you that battle report. Unfortunately, I don't have my opponent's list in this game, or his exact copy of it. I have a generally good idea of his army. I'll see if I can get him to post it in the comments of this video. Looking at my list, however, I'm running a list I've never run before, so I have very basic martial, just a shield. Then my prelate, I have a prelate as a general. He's just got the Imperial Steel for a 1-up, and a Grey Weapon and a Lucky Charm. And then I have two prelates on foot with 1-ups as well, and a couple different combinations there, as you can see. And then I'm rocking a wizard on a Arcane Engine with the Arcane Shield. He's a Wizard Master with Pyromancy. He's only got a couple things. He's just got the Dragonfire Gem to, resist some Pyromancy and resist some Alchemy. And then I also have a Magical Heirloom for that 5th spell. Moving on to the rest of the list, in my core I have 2 units of Heavy Infantry. Both have the Banner Relentless Company, 30 Halberds, 25 Spears, both have Musicians. And then I have another small unit of Heavy Infantry with just a Champion and 21 guys and a Musician. And then I have 2 just straight basic units of 10 Light Infantry rocking crossbows. I have 1 cannon, or sorry, I actually have 2 cannons. They look kind of goofy in that format, but I have 2 cannons, and then I have 80 flagellants in this list. That's why there's 3 prelates. So 1 unit 28, 1 unit 26, 1 unit 26. I've been thinking for the longest time how I want to really, I guess I'm like experimenting with the categories in Empire Sonnstahl recently, pushing characters as far as they can. Now I'm pushing Soonest Fury as far as it can. So 80 flagellants is as many flagellants as you can possibly fit in an Empire Sonnstahl army right now. So I wanted to try it out. For the game information, since I have Pyromancy, I took Cascading Fire, Scorching Salvo, Flaming Sword, and Pyroclastic Flow, and then Altered Sight with my Heirloom. And then for my opponent, he had Shamanism, so he took Awaken the Beast, Savage Fury, Totemic Summon, and Break the Spirit. He also has a few totems on a couple champions, and then he's got a totem upgrade on his BSB as well. Our secondary objective was King of the Hill, where you choose like a train feature on, that's not entirely in your deployment zone, and then your opponent has to get his scoring units on top of it. We have Encircle deployment. I chose the attacker deployment because I wanted, because of the train feature, which I'll show you in just a second when we get to deployment. I don't know why I chose attacker with this army. I should have chose defender, which I think you'll probably see soon. So this is the starting Beast Herds deployment. So he's got, this is after Vanguards too. So he's got his 2 Centaur units up there. And then starting from left to right, he's got a unit of Gargoyles next to some Chariots. Then he's got a big unit of Longhorns. They look kind of goofy like that. It's because his trays are not really working well for him right now. And then he's got a Raised Trust Chariot, and then in the middle of his board, near that pond, he's got, I think, 8 Minotaurs. Behind his Minotaurs is a Mage Bunker of some Mongrels. Next to the Minotaurs are some Lance Centaurs, and then he's got another unit of Gargoyles finishing up his deployment on the right there. Looking at my deployment, I've got one of my units of Heavy Infantry with the Spears on my right there, and then a unit of Light Infantry, a Cannon, a unit of Flags, actually 2 units of Flags right there in the middle. One of them's got that big Golden Griffin, and then that small unit of Swordsmen has my BSB in it right in the middle. I have my Wizard next to that on the cart, and then another unit of Flagellants to the left of my cart, another Cannon, and another unit of Light Infantry in the forest all the way to the left, and then behind all that is a unit of Heavy Infantry, the 30 Halberds with Heavy Infantry. So I chose the fence that is actually, it was just in front of my deployment, and my opponent chose this field because it too was like just outside of his deployment. So he's able to. He has things in it, but it's still not entirely within his deployment zone. So he was able to choose that field, which is nice and far away for him. So Beastard's turn 1. I actually gave him turn 1. Because he has Dark Rain, of course. He runs up his Centaurs, going to do some throwing weapons, and then he moves up like so. So, I mean, he's got very fast units. So I believe both his Minotaurs and his Longhorns, which now you can see his Longhorns kind of fanned out. They were like 6 deep at the start of this. Both have movement standards, or, you know, banners of speed, so they're fast. He's got like Blackwing totems everywhere. He's a very fast army. So his Centaurs move up to kind of pick on my light infantry, and then the whole battle line just, you know, runs right up. He gets Flux Card 7, which he saves 3 tokens, so that gives him, let's see, looks like 8 dice. I believe I stop a Totemic Summon, and then he gets 2 Blackwing totems off. So yeah, pretty good. I think he used 4 dice, and I had 5 or 6 dice, and I stopped his Totemic Summon. You know, just such a nuisance. And then he's got 2 Blackwing totems up, so we'll see how that plays for him later. And then in the shooting phase, it goes pretty well for me. He picks off 2 guys here, so he can't cause a panic test. And then he picks exactly 2 guys off here as well. So again, no panic test. So I felt fortunate that the light infantry to flee turn 1. So start of my turn 1. The first thing I do is both the flagellant units that are like on my, like the flanks of my battle line, I guess, the 2 most left and right ones, they both attempt to charge the Centaur units, and both Centaurs flee and kind of get pushed back, and then I redirect with them, but I don't really go anywhere. I think I tried to redirect into the gargoyles with the one on the right, the one on the left. I don't even know if it could redirect on anything, so neither unit goes very far. I think I rolled like 2s or 3s. So, but I was happy to get those Centaurs out of my hair. Now it kind of opens up my light infantry so they can shoot other things. And then I'd move one of my flagellant units in the center up just a little bit, and I move my heavy infantry back because I'm really not that far away from those Minotaurs, and they got the Blackwing totem up. And I move my wizard back as well. In the magic phase, it's kind of a bummer. I started off with a 1. So I had 5 channels in this army because 3 prelates, wizard. So I get 6 dice. I do a Scorching Salvo, and it was a really good one. So it ends up killing the Centaurs because I'm able to put. I think I rolled really high, and I think I just killed them all. And then I was able to almost kill all the Harpies. I put the extra D3 on them. And then I also killed 2 Centaurs, and I think I put a couple wounds on a Minotaur. So not too bad. Kind of really cut down the chaff. Got a couple wounds off those units. And then with my crossbows, I'm able to finish off the gargoyles. So that was great. I don't have to. I felt really confident. I was like, "Whoa, look at that! Like my right flank's cleared. That's sweet." I shoot one of my cannons at the Minotaurs. Pick off another Minotaur. I think I killed a Minotaur. I can't remember if he had 7 or 8. I want to say 8, and I might have picked off one with the Scorching Salvo, and then picked off one with a cannonball. So a good start there. Another cannon hits the Chariot unit, kills a whole Chariot, so that was great. And then I also shoot my crossbows at these guys, and I'm able to plink off another wound. So really great shooting phase, considering, you know, he's got Dark Rain up, so I'm at a -1. -2 for a lot of things, long range. So start of Beast Herde's turn 2. He charges all 3 of these units at this flag unit, which in hindsight I really regretted moving up because it seems kind of far, but it's kind of like 17s and 18s, and for Beast Herds it's like not really that hard when everything's got like a +1 movement from the Chariot, and like there's a Blackwing totem up, and the Minotaurs who really need it just don't have Swiss Stride. I really needed him to fail one of these, and he didn't, and he got all 3 in. So, yeah, he thought he wasn't going to kill all these guys, but let me tell you, flagellants, they like to die. So we'll see how this goes later in combat. He's obviously set up for a really nice overrun there too. He gets both his ambushers on turn 2, which is just increases the pressure. So he puts one on here because obviously it's in my BSB's unit, and then he gets one on over here. So great places to really pick on some stuff. It's going to be hard to keep those cannons alive for another turn. And then he just moves up like so. He doesn't really have to move up his Longhorns that aggressively. They outcharge my flags. He moves up his Chariots. His Centaurs that fled from the charge on the left there, they rallied. So yeah, I mean, his battle line's looking good. He's kind of in the combats he wants to be in. So yeah. He gets Flux card 3, so that gives him 8 dice. I think he turned everything in basically, and then he's able to stop another Totemic summon this turn. He's able to get Awaken the Beast off on his Minotaurs to give him that Strength 6, so they can wound me on 2s. And then he's able to get the Blooded Horn Totem off, which I think gives him an extra attack on his Centaurs. That was from a champion, so that's also really dirty. And then in the shooting phase, he kills, what is that, 5 light infantry with destroying weapons, makes them flee. And then going into combat, this is actually I really don't have a pick from combat because he just slaughters everything except the Prelate General, who's going to auto break. I do end up killing all the Centaurs. I think I killed 2 Minotaurs, and I don't think I put any wounds on the Chariot. I was like, let me just try and kill the Centaurs, put some wounds on the Minotaurs. I didn't put anything on the Chariot. So, yep, and, I auto-break, he catches my Prelate, or my Prelate goes off the table, and then he gets to go into my heavy infantry. So, yeah, really good move of my opponent. That was a rough one to suffer. So, at the start of Empire Sonnstahl 2, I charged my spears over here into his Chariots. They flee, and then I redirect into his Centaurs, and I'm off by 1 inch. I would have made the Chariot charge if he didn't flee. I rolled I think I needed 11 to get in the Centaurs, and I rolled a 10, and I only needed a 9 to get in the Chariots. So, bummer. And then this is kind of how I really redeploy almost in this movement phase. So I've got light infantry fleeing on the left there. I'm just gonna try and get some cannon shots while I can. I know I'm gonna lose them eventually, especially the one on the left there. I turn one of my units of Flagellants around, and then I keep one unit looking forward. And the one looking forward, is looking at the Longhorns. So in the magic phase, I get Flux card 4, which gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 dice. And honestly, I was not having the best magic phase. I was getting a lot of dice, but I couldn't really get that many results. So I get Pyclastic Flow off on this unit of Wildhorns next to right in front of my wizard, and I get 10 hits, and I only do 3 wounds, and they don't even suffer a panic test. And that's it. I couldn't get anything else off, or anything else I was getting off wasn't doing anything. I do put 3 wounds on his Chariot from one of my cannons, and then in the combat phase, yeah, the Minotaurs they just crush. I'm able to kill 1, but they just crush the swordsmen, and then they run off the table because they had to pursue. And then they come back on like this, and we're looking at Beast Herd's turn 3. So he turns his Wildhorns around to look at my Flagellants who turn around. I'm trying to get these heavy infantry into the action. I was trying to protect my backfield. It was a bad idea. They should have been somewhere else where they could have countercharged or anything. I know they're really not in a good spot. But that's okay. We're trying to make the best of it here. He shafts me with his gargoyles, and it's really nice for him because he's taken out a cannon with the Wildhorns on the left in this picture, and he's able to turn his Chariot around. So yeah, I don't know if you can see the future happening there. He gets Flux card 5, which he saves 2 Veil tokens, but I think he still has 9 dice or something like that. He's able to Break the Spirit off on my Flagellant unit that was in front of those Wildhorns, and then I believe he gets I think he gets one of the like the blooded horn totem off on the gargoyles, so now they have like 2 attacks or 3 attacks or something like that. So not bad there either. Just see if they can do a lot of damage. And then that was actually kind of a picture of my turn 3 picture. So going in Empire Sonnstahl turn 3, I bring my flagellants into his Wildhorns, continue my heavy infantry up. I bring my flagellants into his gargoyles. I mean, I just kind of have to at this point. I don't think I could turn around. I mean, I guess I could have turned around, but then I don't know, he might have been able to move the gargoyles. Maybe not. Maybe I should have just turned around. Anyway, I go into the gargoyles. I want to get rid of them, but yeah, now I'm like facing multi-threat charge again from a lot of things, unfortunately. So I get a Flux card 8. Hopefully, little Pyro Magic can shift some fortunes. Maybe get some things to flee. You know, big magic phase, 7 dice. I get like 11 dice or something like that, right? Yeah, 11 dice. I get another Pyclastic Flow off here. I think I do the 2d6 with the d3. I only get 4 wounds. And they pass their panic test. So, you know. Yep. And that's the magic phase. Oh, man. My magic phases just were... and my opponent's magic phases were the exact opposite. He was getting so many spells off and just destroying me. So at the start of his turn 4, you know, he's just got these Minotaurs and he just kind of brings them in. I don't even think they failed a frenzy test. I think he's just thinking like, you know, he's probably going to lose them because there's only like 2 guys left, 2 Minotaurs left. So he just brings them into this flagellant unit to get rid of as many as possible. I think even the Wildhorns killed like 6 the previous turn. They had like a really good roll. They even failed their fear test and their hatred test, but they just rolled extravagantly well on their wound roll. And then, yeah, just brings in a Chariot, brings in Wildhorns, and he brings in his Longhorns, all in this unit of, they're not 26 at this point. I think I lost 4 or something like that to the Gargoyles. So, yeah, he's bringing them in though. Oh man, that's not gonna be fun. So this is kind of what it's looking like. Yeah, I tried to charge. Actually, I moved my spearmen up. If you can see at the top of this picture, they're like 14 inches away from those chariots. So I'm gonna try and charge them on my turn. We'll see if they get in there. So he gets Flux card 2, which gives him at least probably 6 dice to my 5, and he's able to get break the spirit off, and I think he's able to get +1 toughness off on his guys. I just couldn't stop anything, and if I stopped one thing, he was getting like everything off. His magic phase was unstoppable. I think he failed 1 spell, and it was like Savage Fury, which he barely needs. Because I mean, obviously, it makes him, you know, gives him battle focus on his hatred, but he does not really need it. So. Yeah, the only highlight from combat for me really was it was able to kill the Chariot with like, I think I had 3 flags going on 1 Chariot, and it only had 2 wounds left, so they were able to pluck the last 2 wounds off, which was nice. But yeah, he still got, you know, that Wildhorn unit still alive. His Longhorns, I think I only did 4 wounds with Longhorns. Yep. And then to kill the Minotaurs over here, they looked like they killed about 5, so that's pretty reasonable. And then going into Empire Sonnstahl turn 4. So yeah, I tried to charge the Spearmen in. They failed. They do get into his terrain feature, which is good, but I mean, they got to deal with 2 Chariots now, which I don't know if they can really. That's a tough combat. I guess it kind of depends on how well he rolls for his impact hits. And yeah, I didn't want to charge anything because I was kind of a little too far away, but I don't know. I almost wish I'd charged the flags into those Longhorns just to try and get in there, since it'd be like a flank and I could tie them up. But yeah, we're gonna try and use some pyro magic to maybe panic some stuff. You know, because I mean, his stuff should be susceptible to it. You know what I mean? But he's not. I'm just not rolling well enough. So I get the Flux card 5, and which is a great Flux card. Gives me 9 dice to his 5. Oh, you can hear the sigh. So I get a Pyclastic Flow off. It does like, or this is a Scorching Salvo. It does only like 1 wound to the Centaurs. I think it does like 1 or 2 wounds to the Wildhorns, and it does like no wounds to the Longhorns, and nothing panics starting there. And then I do a Cascading Fire, and I think it do the 2d, must be just the d6, and I can only kill 1 more, you know, here, and then they pass their panic test. So yeah, man, I really just needed to drop some models off those 2 smaller units. So yeah, Star Beast turn 5, the Chariots come in. I'll see how this goes. This will probably be pretty rough. I mean, I get to go before the Chariot crew, which is nice, but obviously their impact hits are going to go first. And yep, this is what it looks like. So he just runs his Centaurs away. He just kind of moves his Wildhorns away. His Wizard is now safely behind the hill. And then his Longhorns are not quite on the train feature yet, but they're almost touching that wall. Yeah, which is, you know, it's good. It's really good. And then finally, I can't stop a Totemic Summon, so he was able to bring on a beast to go get this cannon, basically, and make it more difficult for my Wizard back here. And this is where we actually end up calling the game, because my Spearmen do about 4 wounds to the Chariots. They kill like 8 or some guys with impact hits, and the crew attacks. And then I couldn't pass my Steadfast test. And then at the start of my turn 5, my last Flagellant unit fails its Frenzy check, and it has to charge into the Longhorns, which is the last thing I wanted. Because now I couldn't really keep my Wizard safe, because like I wanted to move him up to get to put pressure on those 2 back units. But now he could just win combat and turn around. So it was kind of getting late. This was like just a weekday. You know, we both had work the next day. And I was like, yeah, let me just call it here. You know, it's going to be bad. You know, it's a 20-0 for my opponent. If I could have kept the Spears alive and, you know, get that train feature, I would have been much more interested in playing it out. But at this point, it's like, oof. I mean, he's going to kill these flags, and then he's going to charge my heavy infantry, and then he could probably beat them in 1 turn, maybe 2. But he'll definitely get them. Or, I mean, he just goes after my Wizard, and my Wizard flees, and, you know, and I don't even know if I can kill that Totemic Summon. It's so iffy. So, I just conceded my opponent at this point. It was a really good game played on his part. I made a lot of mistakes with, like, my deployment. I think I did a terrible job in my deployment phase. I really hated it, like, looking back on it. I don't know why I chose Attacker. I know that I don't even think that Fence was that great of a thing to pick. So, looking back, I'm like, I should have chose Defender, given him Attacker, pushed him back. I could even had my Wizard up, because he has, like, no shooting in his army, except those Centaurs, and I could have just, you know, honestly, Pyromancy could have probably taken out those Centaurs turn 1, and then I could have just kind of kept backing up with my Wizard. So, yeah, I wasn't very pleased with how I deployed or how I played this. I am bringing this army to a little... a 1-day tournament in Canada coming up, so that'll be November 17th. So I'll have, it's just like a 3-game event, so I'll have some more videos from that, hoping to get 1 more game in before then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you soon.